Hello all and welcome back to another edition of So You Are Interested In. I'm Luke the Supertramp and today I will be talking to you about a band that I care very much for. That band is Seat Headrest. Don't know already, Seat Headrest is the brainchild of Will Toledo. He was always being recognized as a fantastic singer-songwriter, creating these awesome albums. The album that gave him a lot of notoriety would be 2011's Twin Fantasy. This album gave him a huge popularity boost, and eventually, many years later, he would actually be signed to Matador Records. From there, he would add on drummer Andrew Katz, bassist Seth Darby, and guitarist Ethan Ives. Most of their material consists of indie rock, garage rock, a mixture of the two, as well as some pop rock in there, and much of the original material is more singer-songwriter type deal. So now to get into what I think you should listen to if you would like to get into this band. Starting off with the album Teens of Denial. Teens of Denial was released in 2016. It was my favorite album that year, and it is pretty much what made me fall in love with Seat Headrest. Every single track is amazing off this album. I don't think there are really any bad songs. All super catchy, super fun, indie rock, garage rock. Very lo-fi, but not lo-fi in the way that his original albums were. Having a big budget meant that he could actually do some production on this thing, and it came out fantastic. Some great tracks off this thing that I personally love are Joe Gets Kicked Out of School for Doing Drugs with Friends but Says It Isn't a Problem. Yes, that is one song title. This is just a really great story of a personal experience from Will, ending with a very catchy sing-along. Drugs are better with friends are better, friends are better with... Just another fantastic garage rock classic Seat Headrest track. Then there's Drunk Drivers, which is probably their most popular song to date. I like this song a lot, don't get me wrong, I really do, but it's definitely not the best off of this album. However, I'm still extremely happy to hear this on the radio occasionally, and people always knowing this song when they think of Seat Headrest, because it's still a fantastic track. And one of my other favorites off this album is Cosmic Hero. It's an 8-minute indie rock catharsis, utilizing all different instruments, including horns in the background, and some of the best lyrics that I think Will has ever put to paper. Basically talking about how if you're not going to change, why should somebody else? And in general, this record is just fantastic. It is definitely worth a listen. It is long. It's like an hour and 2 minutes, I believe. I could be mistaken on that, but it's just such a fun listen, you don't even notice the time just flies by. The other record I'd want you to listen to is Twin Fantasy. This is my 2018 album of the year. I absolutely love this thing. It's a remake of the 2011 version, and with a bigger production and a bigger sound, Will really came through with this. He didn't ruin a timeless classic like the 2011 version, he just made it better somehow. Mostly because of the fact that the dynamics on this are so much bigger than on the original version. Some great tracks include Beach Life and Death, a 13-minute, 3-act party of depression, sadness, and love, all mushed together with a beautiful, beautiful guitar sound, super noisy. This song is seriously one of my favorite songs of all time, I think. And honestly, I'm okay with both the 2018 version and the 2011 version. To me, this is Will's best songwriting ever, hands down, and it's just a really fun epic of a track. Then there's the feet-tapping bodies. This track just inspires movement through anything. Definitely one of the biggest improvements from the 2011 version. More cleaned up, more pop-oriented. I mean, this thing was destined to become a hit. I'm waiting for it to happen. Absolutely love that track if you're looking for something way more fun in the alternative indie garage type feel. Then there's Famous Prophet Stars. This is another mammoth of a track coming in at 16 minutes. A little bit more long-winded in a literal and metaphorical sense in comparison to Beach Life and Death, but this track is still breathtaking, beautiful, delicate, while still showing signs of strength and will, no pun intended. I know that length of a track sounds intimidating, but the entire thing is so engaging and so fulfilling the entire way through. Now to move on to a couple of tracks. Coming off of this record right here, their first release under Matador, it is Teens of Style. Teens of Style acts as a compilation in a way of much of the old material that Will had already written and used on other albums, but still wanted to polish up and bring to the mainstream, as well as, I believe, 1 or 2 brand new tracks that hadn't been released yet. And off this thing, probably one of my favorite tracks, or a track that has grown on me a ton, is Something Soon. There's nothing really crazy about Something Soon. It's just a normal indie garage rock type song, very cathartic and loud and rough, but that's because that's exactly what it was for Will. He was talking about his experiences in college and how he wanted to go home and he wanted to talk to somebody, but he wasn't wasn't able to. It's nothing more than young adulthood anger. I really do think that it's a perfect track for what it is. Nothing crazy, nothing ambitious, but a just really good, catchy tune. And then off the 2014 release How to Leave Town, we have America Never Been. This 7-minute track really shows off the peak of what Will was able to do with such a low budget on production, and doing everything himself as well. The drum beats on this are synthesized, but they're really, really fun. This track is a slow burner that turns into a fire. Overall, it's just one of the best showcases of what Will was able to do as a solo artist before adding other members to his band. And it's probably one of the best sounding tracks that Will has put out on his own before signing to Matador. And then finally, I would like to talk about the Ballad of the Costa Concordia, which comes off of the Teens of Denial album. This track's another long one, so if you're interested in those after listening to maybe the other tracks that I'd already mentioned, this is definitely the next one to go to. Yet another act-structured song that builds as it goes, snowballing into a release of noise, anger, and just heavy, lo-fi guitar riffs. This song is epic. It is incredibly emotional once you can connect to the song, bringing me to tears in more than one occasion, and then leaving you feeling so hopeful with the end. I just really love this track. It was probably my favorite track when Teens of Denial came out, and it's pretty much held that throughout the test of time so far. But yeah, you gotta give this song a listen, especially if you like the longer songs that Car Seat Headrest does. So yeah, that's another edition of So You're Interested In. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions for new artists that you'd like to learn about, leave them in the comments below, and I'll go do my research. So go listen to Car Seat Headrest if you haven't yet, and make sure to stay tuned to Forever Spinning for more So You're Interested Ins, and other videos, and all that good stuff. Until then, happy listening.